What's up, YouTube? Back once again. This is the second time I attempt to do this video review because YouTube is bugging out. But this is Mortal Kombat Gold on the Sega Dreamcast. It is the Dreamcast exclusive version of Mortal Kombat 4. Best way to describe this game is it would be like if you remember Mortal Kombat 3 and how a year later they had Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate. Well, it's the same thing. You have Mortal Kombat 4 and now you have Mortal Kombat 4 Ultimate or Mortal Kombat Gold. It being as Mortal Kombat 3 didn't have certain characters, and Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate was the same game with the addition of those characters and a few extra levels, a few extra stages. Same thing with this one. Mortal Kombat 4 was the first 3D, pseudo 3D Mortal Kombat title, started in the arcades and on the 64, and it had a nice list of characters, but it was missing certain characters, and in Mortal Kombat Gold on the Dreamcast, you get those characters and their stages back, like Kitana, Melina, Baraka, Kung Lao. These are characters that weren't in the original Mortal Kombat 4. So, I mean, that's basically in a nutshell what it is. It's a great fighter, you know, nice graphics, fun to play, controls are spot on. Best way to go through this is I'm just going to go through the negatives and the positives. First of all, the positives, it's Mortal Kombat, and that is, you know, instantly recognizable from the first punch you throw in this game. The blood splatters, the sound effects, just the brutal damage that you do to your opponents. I mean, it's all there. Just the iconic music, the stages, the characters that are there have never looked better, you know, thus far in the series. What else? Another positive would be the fact that it has that Mortal Kombat 4 engine, whereas I do love the fully 3D Mortal Kombats that have come out in the next generation systems, like, you know, Deception and Armageddon and Deadly Alliance and, you know, stuff like that. I love those Mortal Kombat vs. DC, love it. But that's because they finally had the 3D engine figured out. Whereas when this game came out and Mortal Kombat 4 came out, they were just experimenting with it. So I think it was a very big plus that they had the 3D looking characters and 3D backgrounds, but kept the fights on a 2D linear plane. So it's like a pseudo 2D, 3D feel to the game, which works beautifully. That's a big positive. Another positive would be the characters that they brought back, you know, that weren't in the original Mortal Kombat 4, which is a big selling point for this game, such as Kitana, Melina, Kung Lao, and Baraka. I mean, they all rendered beautifully, look great, move great, have great moves. You know, it's just a joy to play the game. The negatives would be the fact that, number one, in the content department, it's a bit limited. I mean, it's got a couple of different modes, but, you know, it's got like 1-on-1 and 2-on-2 combat mode, you know, practice and tournament and stuff like that. That's very limited when you compare it to a generation before on the 64 on cartridge. You had Mortal Kombat Trilogy that had 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, and 8-player combat right off the bat on a cartridge, with more characters and more levels. So that's a big negative for me. Other negative will be that, you know, this is the Dreamcast and the arcade and Dreamcast versions. I mean, this came out at a time when we had already seen the 64 and we had already had, you know, a good amount of time to familiarize ourselves with polygons and make them look smoother and better in games. And in this game, you can see just a little bit too much jaggy edges and you know, polygons and bad textures for my comfort, knowing that this is a whole generation later. And, you know, it doesn't look all that great. I mean, it looks good graphically altogether. The package as a whole is beautiful, but just certain details like that, like the fact that you can see some of the edges of the polygons a little sharper than you would like. You know, I mean, that's more reminiscent of the 64 than of the Dreamcast, so that's negative. But, I mean, going through that, I have to say, to review the game on the same criteria that I always do, such as, first of all, is graphics. Well, like I said, the graphics, I'm going to give the graphics an 8. Reason being, just like I said, the polygons are a little jaggy, characters are a little stiff, some textures in the background, like, you know, the edges of that snow over there on top of those rocks are kind of blurry. It's not really defined. And this is a Sega Dreamcast, man. This was a graphical powerhouse, so that's, you know, that's one problem I have with it. So graphics get an 8 because of that, and, you know, other little nitpicks here and there, but as far as the graphics, they get an 8. The controls get a 10. They're spot on. In the Dreamcast, this game only allows you to use the D-pad. It doesn't allow you to use an analog stick, which is great because I think that would really just trip you up. Since it's in a 2D linear fight, you know, maybe a 3D environment, but like I said, it has a 2D feel to it because it's just back and forth. The control pad works perfectly, and the Dreamcast control pad, directional pad is perfect size. The face buttons are all perfectly placed for high punch, low punch, high kick, low kick. Very well done. The triggers are run and block, so it's perfect, 10. Gameplay, I think it gets a 7, and the reason it gets a 7 is because, like you just saw right there, I've been playing 2-on-2 combat this whole review, and you can see that every time one of the characters explodes, it freezes for a second. You know, that's just poorly programmed. You know, like I said, it's limited in the content, which I think falls in the gameplay. You know, the fact that I can only do 1-on-1 and 2-on-2, or the 64 trilogy version, I could do a bunch more. You know, that's very limited. So it gets a 7 there. Overall, you know, to review the entire game based on that, 10 for controls, 7 for gameplay, 8 for graphics, I have to give the game an 8. I think it is a very, very good entry in the Mortal Kombat universe, Mortal Kombat franchise, and it's exclusive to the Dreamcast. So if you're a Dreamcast owner and you love Mortal Kombat, this is a must-buy. Beware, it does have its negatives here and there, but the positives far outweigh the negatives. I mean, this Mortal Kombat, it's beautifully done, graphics-wise. I mean, look at Scorpion. Look how great he looks. You know, how great he was animated. Quan Chi as well. I mean, the weapons, the addition of weapons, you know, the different stages, you know. There you saw that freeze that I was talking about. But, you know, other than that, man, just a wonderful game, wonderful fighter, good fighter, hardcore fighter for the Dreamcast, you know. For those of you that like that expression, hardcore fighter, you know. Just a very good game. Well done, man. I hope you guys enjoy the review. Like I said, it gets an 8 out of 10. Good exclusive fighter for the Dreamcast. God bless y'all. Hope you enjoyed the review. Stay gaming.